Hi, kindergarten friends. So today we're doing something a little different. So I'm actually showing you something that I'm working on over here because it might be easier to see this lesson that way. You could see me in the corner though, hopefully. And just before we start, our number of the day is 145. So that's how many days we've been kindergartners. So today we're going to continue working on breaking apart. So taking a whole and breaking it apart. So right now, what I want you to do is you can see here, I have my 6 counters. That's going to be the whole. I want you to pause the video and see how many different ways you can break apart 6. All right, friends. So now I'm going to show you one way. There's many different ways. This is called a number bond. We don't actually use them that much, but it's another way of looking at a part whole chart, which we've talked a little bit about. So our whole is 6. We are now going to break it apart. So here's one way you could do it. I'm going to move one of my counters over here, and then I'm going to take the rest and I'll put them in the other part. Now, you see how I did that? I had my 6 here. 6 is still my whole, and I broke it up into 2 parts. I'm now going to write the number sentence down below. So it is 6, because that's what I started with, is or equals, and then my 2 break aparts, 1 and 5. That's one example. You may have gotten another example. Let me just show you. I'm not going to write the number sentence, but just to see. I could put 3 over there, 3 over there. So then 6 is 3 and 3. I am using my phone to project it, so I'm sorry if a couple of messages come through. All right, so next, friends, we are going to try another number. Today we're working with numbers 6, 7, 8, and 9. So check this one out. I'm going to change up my whole. I have 6. I'm actually going to use 2 more counters. So we'll try 6 and 2. Oh, I know what that is. That's 8. So 8's going to be my whole. And now I'm going to try to break it apart. Pause now and you try. Alrighty, so here's my one way. So many ways, but here's a way you could use it. So we're going to do 5 and then 3 over here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So now let me write my number sentence with the break apart. So I have 8 is 5 and 3. What we want to remember for a moment, just to think about this a little bit. You see me circling Ellie the equals down there? When we were in school, we talked about how Ellie was like a balance and how wherever Ellie is, the 2 sides have to be equal to make her correct. So if I look at this, on my one side, I have 8. On my other side, I have 5 and 3. 5 and 3 is the same as 8. So this would make it nice and balanced. So Ellie is helping this equation to be balanced. Alrighty. So that was 8. Let's do one more with 9. On your workspace, I hope for this one you try to write that number sentence if you haven't been yet doing that yet. All right, let me make sure. I'm actually going to organize my 9. So I see it as 3 groups of 3. 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 3. Yeah, all right, there it is. So now let's try to see how we could break apart 9. So I'm going to take my first group right here. I'm going to put 3 over here. Maybe 4. That's one way. There's so many different options. That's why I like this. And then I'm going to move 5 over here. All right, so I am starting with my whole was 9. Let's not forget. 9 is, and I broke it apart. I have 4 and 5. So 9 was my whole, 4 and 5 are my parts. Are there a bunch of different ways to do this? Yes. Why don't you, if you haven't yet, why don't you pause the video now and try a different way to do 9 as the whole? Okay, so now let's move on. So the one thing I want to show you for the break apart that sometimes get kids a little confused. What if I did this? Just as an example. Is that wrong? No, because even though there isn't anything here, we still have a number that we can use to represent nothing. What number is that? 0. So friends, this would be 9 is 0 and 9, and that still works as a break apart. So today, friends, when you're doing your independent work, it looks like this. So you know how I moved around my counters? That could help some of you. So if you have something in your house like cubes or Legos, you might want to lay out 6 Legos and then break them apart. Or you might want to lay out 7 Legos and then break them apart. On here, you can just circle the 2 groups, and you'll notice in this example how we did that. The other thing I want to show you before we move on today is this. This is tomorrow's lesson. Tomorrow's lesson is very similar, but the thing that we're doing here that's a little bit different is that we're using a 10 frame. Now, the one thing that sometimes kids forget, and you can see here, is that when we use the 2 different colors in the 10 frame, we want to make sure that they're grouped. So all the yellows stay together and then the reds. Sometimes at the beginning of the year, we talk about patterns, but these 10 frames are not to show patterns. They're to show a group of yellow and a group of red. When you fill this out, you want to make sure you're showing the different ways to break apart 10 using this 10 frame. So this is tomorrow's lesson, but I'm not going to do a video because it's very similar to what we're doing today. You can pick any 2 colors you want to color in these 10 frames on your work tomorrow, but just make sure those colors are grouped. Okie dokes? All right, friends. Well, I wish you the best of luck with the break apart of our whole numbers, and I will actually see you again on Wednesday. Bye.